By August 14th, the police appeared to be convinced that Luke had disposed of a German army shirt which, they said, several witnesses had described seeing him wearing the evening of the murder. That particular line of reasoning was dropped when it was pointed out that the missing shirt was actually in police possession. A more credible explanation based on all of the available evidence is that there was no parka, German army shirt or fishing clothes belonging to Luke on June 30th, and that he was wearing the bomber jacket the whole day and evening up to the point that Jodi's body was found. There have been some variations in the descriptions given of jackets in this case. Andrina Bryson, the prosecution's star witness, believes she saw a boy resembling Luke Mitchell wearing a fishing-style jacket, a green fishing-style jacket. Witnesses Lorraine Fleming and Rosemary Walsh, who were travelling in a car together, believed they saw a boy resembling Luke Mitchell wearing a long dark green jacket. It was said that there were other witnesses who believed Luke had been wearing a green shirt, specifically a green German army shirt. Innocence Betrayed by Dr. Sandraline, page 222, states, "Where did the dozens of witnesses who saw Luke in a German army shirt go? Their statements were never released to the defence and they were never called to give evidence. It may have been that they never existed in the first place, since their statements were not in the defence papers and those officers on August 14th, whose behaviour was later described by appeal court judges as outrageous and to be deplored, were prepared to use anything, even outright lies, to try to force a confession out of a 15-year-old boy." Page 127 of Innocence Betrayed says, "Just before 6 o'clock, Luke was identified by people who knew him, sitting on a wall at the end of his street, 400 to 500 metres further along the New Battle Road, wearing completely different clothes. Baggy jeans, green bomber jacket with orange lining, and distinctive light-coloured snowboarding boots." So what hasn't really been mentioned in much detail is what the boys on the bikes described Luke wearing that evening. It's implied that they saw him wearing a green bomber jacket with orange lining, and that no green army shirt existed. The boys on the bikes did give evidence at the trial. On the 2nd of December 2004, AH gave his evidence. In his first statement to police, he had described dark blue baggy jeans and a dark green shirt. It was definitely a shirt, not a jacket. I think it was buttoned up and I couldn't see anything underneath it. It was down to the waist of his jeans and baggy. So he's read out his initial statement. He's asked if he remembers that statement. He replies, yeah. During cross-examination by Mr. Finlay, he is asked, "So when you were first asked about this, you had no doubt in your mind, which may be right or wrong, but you seemed to be quite clear that the picture you had in your mind was of Luke wearing a shirt?" He replies, yeah. The witness is questioned by the advocate depute. He's asked to examine picture number 9 and the upper 2 images on the page. "Do you know or have you heard people talk about a bomber jacket?" He replies, yeah. "Is this what you would call a bomber jacket or not?" Seemingly referring to the image in front of him. And he replies, yes. He's asked if he remembers what he said to police when they asked him to look at the jacket and think about whether it could have been the one worn by Luke Mitchell. He doesn't remember, so the advocate depute says, "Well, let's read on then in your statement. I've been asked to examine picture 9 and asked if this could be similar to the one Luke Mitchell was wearing. Are you with me so far?" The witness replies, yeah. "The jacket is definitely not the jacket he was wearing. It's nothing like it. It's too short, it's the wrong style and the wrong material. Have I read that accurately?" The witness replies, yes. "And that's what you thought when you were asked to look at that jacket?" Yes. The witness is reminded of a statement where he says, "And I seem to remember a German flag on one of the shoulders, but I'm not sure." He's then read back his very first statement from the 9th of July, where he says Luke was wearing dark blue baggy jeans and a dark green shirt. "It was definitely a shirt, not a jacket. I think it was buttoned up, but I couldn't see anything underneath it. It was about down to the waist of his jeans and baggy." So while the witness isn't certain that there was a German army badge on the shirt, he does seem confident that he saw Luke wearing a long green shirt and not a green bomber jacket with orange lining. To add to the confusion with long green clothing items, There were also around about 8 witnesses who were named at the trial who believed they'd saw Luke wearing a parka, specifically a green parka. His mum is asked at the trial whether she remembers him owning a parka, and she said that he's never owned a parka. None of these witness testimonies are mentioned in the book, and it's not something that's generally been discussed or acknowledged, the fact that there were witnesses who believe they saw Luke wearing a long green jacket in the style of a parka and a long green shirt. According to Innocence Betrayed, Luke did actually purchase a long green jacket on the 9th of July. So that's about 9 days after the murder. And he is photographed wearing that. His picture was in the Daily Record on Saturday, August 23rd. It would be reasonable to ask whether the witnesses had been influenced by photographs in the paper, considering Luke was heavily in the media on a daily basis for some time after the murder. It's not clear when the witnesses who believed they saw Luke wearing a green parka made their statements, but the witness on the bike made his statement on 9th of July. It's quite difficult to find any newspaper articles with Luke wearing the long green jacket before August 23rd. This article states, "Teenager quizzed as probe goes into Jodi murder." Also, going back to page 207 in Innocence Betrayed, I think it's worth asking how the shirt could be in police possession if it didn't exist in the first place.